Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Broadway Quarantine Cabaret. This is episode 11, and I'm your host, Fountain Hills Theater's Executive Director, Michael Wallet. The Broadway Quarantine Cabaret is a fun virtual series where we give back to all of our supporters with free shows every weekend. This series will feature Fountain Hills Theater's staff and performers, as well as many of the Valley's top entertainers live from their homes. Plus, we'll have a few featured Broadway performers coming to us from the East Coast, joining in on the fun. Now, we don't want you to miss any of our upcoming shows, so please hit that little red subscribe button on YouTube or follow us on our Facebook page for all of our updates. If you missed any of our earlier episodes, you can check them out on YouTube anytime. Just follow the bit.ly link listed on all of our posters. We truly want to thank everyone who has watched our shows so far, and a big shout out to all those who have donated during our shows. We truly appreciate your generosity. Our first guest tonight is a New York actor with deep roots here in Arizona. We were lucky enough to have him on our stage last season, where he appeared as God himself in the hysterical play An Act of God. I was lucky enough to play opposite him in that show, along the Mesa Encore Theater's artistic director, David Chorley. Don't we look cute? Well, if you will, please help me in welcoming to our show, Bob Sorensen. Hey, Bob.
Michael, my friend, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm. Are you kidding? I'm great. I get to be in episode number 11. Everyone knows that's what it builds to. You build to 11, so I can say mine. Oh, I love it.
You were right at the top of the list, Bob. You came right in at number 11.
That's so sweet of you. Thank you.
Hey, we've got a fan out there already, Deborah Coulter.
Deborah.
Hey, Deborah. Thanks for tuning in. You're not the only one out there, thank goodness. We've got more eyes on there, but at least we've got one friend out there in the audience. Bob, where are you? Are you quarantined in New York, or you're out here?
No, I'm still here. I was actually scheduled to go back March 13th and start my other job in New York, director of the Junior Golf Center, and audition and things like that. But as we know, the show business world is on hiatus, as is the Junior Golf Center. So my boss was really nice. He said, look, if you're going to work from home, work for the home you're in right now. And that was in Phoenix. And I'm grateful to be here. I love Phoenix. I was hoping to stay here a little longer than March anyway. And now I'll be here, as long as needed. And we'll go back whenever it's okay to go back to New York,
Were you working on a show out here? Or were you just out snowbirding?
I was. Thank you for asking. I last year getting to do Act of God with you. I also got to direct Year in Town at Grease Paint Theater Company. And this year I directed Spring Awakening for them. So I'm hoping to be a snowbird, Michael, some kind of artistic snowbird, where I can come out here and for 5 months, do a show or two while I'm here, go back to New York in the summer. And within the next 3 or 4 years, I'll be back here full time and looking forward to it. Yeah.
Now, you're not from here originally. You're from the Midwest, if I remember, right?
Born and raised in Wisconsin. Yeah, I'm a cheesehead, but I've been out here since 75.
Oh, wow.
Fell in love with
ASU, right?
Went to ASU and just sort of hung around for 30 years. Worked with all the theater companies at the time. And back then, film and TV work was starting to come along pretty well. And we're all gypsies, Michael. You're a gypsy. I'm a gypsy. We've all been all over the place. Stayed here for a while, went to LA for 4 years, been in New York for the last 20 years, but, gladly come back here whenever I can, love it here.
Yeah. I'm sure you must have known our artistic director, Peter J. Hill, back in the day.
Yeah. Only for about 35, 38 years. Oh. Yeah. Have building will do theater. Peter, Noel and I go back to Max's Dinner Theater, all over the place.
Yeah.
At Phoenix Theater, worked with Peter and Noel there. Fountain Hills, of course. So, yeah.
Wow. What do you remember? What show you did when you met them?
Oh my God! Yeah. Yes. The classic dinner theater piece called "Not with My Daughter." Yeah. Yeah. Everyone remembers that one. Yeah. Hamlet, Not With My Daughter. Those are the two that ring, strongest with me. So we go, that's back in the 80s. you know, and shows like that. Then Peter and I, we did I Hate Hamlet. Both Noel was in that. Peter directed it at Phoenix Theater. So again, I mean, you know, stories and shows too numerous to mention, but it's been fun to be a part of young theater here, growing, evolving theater here, struggling theater here. Let's make theater work again here. You know, the sheep says hi. Yes. And Peter, the name of the show, they don't forgive me. Oh, Ashes to Ashes. Yes. Peter wrote and directed that show. I did that show with Peter and a sheep. So yeah. Yeah.
Keeping it classy always.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can I sip beer while I do this as long as I tell you not to do it?
I had a drink, I've lost it.
You're good.
Most definitely. It makes the cabaret more fun with alcohol.
That's great. What?
Yeah, cabaret is always more fun with alcohol. That's what I say.
Indeed.
Hey, Bob, love Act of God. That's Patrick Russo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We had fun doing that show, didn't we?
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if it was a little bit too risque something for Fountain Hills. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you, before we get off this track, one of the things I love about Fountain Hills Theater, you guys do shows. You don't do one kind of show. You do all kinds of shows.
Yeah.
And you try stuff, you experiment. And I'm sorry, that's why you'll always have my love and support, because you try and that's what theater should do. It shouldn't be one thing. It shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be that. And I love that you guys take chances. And you know, good on you guys. Yeah,
Peter picks a very varied season every year. I mean, it's everything you could think of.
Somehow, and you can power from nothing. I mean, you know.
Now, Act of God was your first show at Fountain Hills, I do believe, right?
It was. Yeah, it sure was. Yeah.
Yeah, you were gone to New York for most of the time that was in existence, I think, right?
Well, you know, Peter, again, you guys in the theater business have to plan ahead. I'd been here the year before that and went out to see a couple shows there. And Peter pulled me aside and said, you know, have you ever heard of the show Act of God? We're thinking about maybe doing it next season. Would you go read it? And I was 5 minutes into it. And I texted him and said, I'm in. Let's do this. This is really wild. It's really funny. It's challenging. It's irreverent, you know, it's everything I like in the theater.
Yeah. So, for those people out there who may not know what Act of God is, can you give a kind of a short synopsis?
Yeah, the short synopsis is God's fed up with the original 10 commandments, decides to come back down to earth because he's got some new ones. He thinks the old stuff isn't working as well as he'd like, and he comes down with 10 new commandments and just starts riffing on what's right and wrong with the world, the universe, and he's a little bit fed up with the bad press he's been getting. And so God comes down to set the record straight. Audience participation. You played Gabriel, I believe. We had Gabriel. Yep. And David played Michael, the two archangels. You know, just it takes off from there.
Yeah, it's such a crazy piece. I mean, it's been played. God's been played by so many different types of people that, you know, it's kind of like a 90-minute stand-up routine, really, is what it is.
Right.
You put whatever it is you bring to it onto it, and it was so funny.
Well, but thank you, Michael. But you know, that's what good writing is, isn't it? Is a show.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like Forum. You know, Forum can be done with all kinds of men, women. It doesn't matter. Different ages. I mean, you can play those roles, and they just work regardless. You know.
Yeah. Well, we had lots of fun backstage, of course, on that show as well. And I remember one of the best stories he told. Bob tells good stories. He's got a lot of good ones in his backpack. But I remember you telling us a story about doing the Star is Born movie with Barbra Streisand. Here, it was shot here, right? Phoenix, was it?
Almost all of it was shot here. If you watch that movie, all the outdoor concert scenes were at Sun Devil Stadium. All the indoor stuff, or most of it, was shot at Gamage. Yeah, there's a lot of Phoenix stuff that was shot here.
So tell the story about you meeting Barbra Streisand herself.
I will absolutely do this, and I'll put this out as a challenge. Michael. I think I have the best Barbra Streisand story. And if somebody, I don't care, on your show, on this, if somebody comes in with a better Barbra Streisand story, you got $50. I'll give them $50.
Put it in the comments. If you got a better Barbra Streisand, put it in the comments.
Yeah, bring it. Go ahead, bring it, because I got the best Barbra Streisand story ever. You want me to tell it? I'll tell it. I'll make it brief.
Tell it. It's such a good
This
story.
is my Barbara Streisand story. And I love telling this story when anyone ever suggests that Miss Streisand is either a diva or impossible to work with or too mean or whatever, this and that. I go, well, let me set the record straight. I got a story.
Yeah.
And I was working as an extra on A Star Is Born, the one with Chris Christopherson and Barbara Streisand. And it was my freshman year at ASU, summer of '76. And we worked a week, and I was just was one of his roadies, and we were just background extras. And then come Friday afternoon, and everything that was shot was leading up to the big concert that they were shooting on Saturday. And to fill Sun Devil Stadium, they charged $3 to bring in Peter Frampton, Santana, a group called Jet, and then of course Christopherson and Streisand were also going to perform. Well, needless to say, they sold Sun Devil Stadium out. So everything that we shot was supposed to take place on the day of this concert. So Friday afternoon, we're all done shooting all the background stuff. And me and my friend Skip Lee, a college buddy, are sitting on the football field of Sun Devil Stadium. Skip and I in an empty Sun Devil Stadium. And then the crew, of course, is doing sound checks and things on stage, getting ready for this concert that was to happen the next day. All of a sudden, we're about a beer or two into this. And all of a sudden, Chris Christopherson walks out and is standing right next to us, and he's sort of checking out the stage and seeing what the setup is. And my friend Skip goes, ask him if he wants a beer. So because I had a beer and a half of courage, I said, hey, Chris, we're like this, you want to have a beer? And Christopherson goes, oh, you silver-tongued devil, and sits right down with us and has a beer. And so I'm trying to think of anything intelligent to say to Chris Christopherson. He was very nice. We chatted for about a minute about how much they had shot, and they had about half the movie to go, et cetera. He gets up and leaves. Skip turns to me and goes, we can say we drank beer with Chris Christopherson for the rest of our lives. I said, I know. My life is complete. No longer had we thought that, then here comes Miss Streisand out on stage. She was also executive producer of that movie, so she had a lot at stake here. And she was talking to the sound guys and the director and talking about setups and stuff. And of course, now my good friend Two Beer Skip goes, ask her to sing. Well, I'm not going to ask her to sing, but she was doing a little sound check, test 1, 2, test 1, 2. And somehow I just shouted out, hey, Barbara, how about a song? Ha, ha, ha. She kind of looks and laughs at us and waves. And then about a second later looks and says, you really want to hear a song? And we're like, okay. She gets on the mic and talks to the guy out in the sound tent. She says, Fred, play back track 2 and cut out the vocals. And Barbara Streisand sings The Way We Were to Skip, me, in an empty Sun Devil Stadium.
Oh, my God.
And, of course, what she's doing is doing a sound check, essentially, but she's having a good time singing the song and testing the sound levels, et cetera, and singing The Way We Were to Skip and I.
That's all. Yeah.
She gets done. I can't remember, to be honest, if she sang the whole song or 2 verses or what, but she gets done singing. Skip and I are stunned, of course. And then just to be stupid, I said, sing People. To which she said, you guys know People? How do you even know that song? That was like 13 years ago. We're like, we love it. We love that. So now there's more than Skip and I, because people have heard this Barbara Streisand voice coming out of Sun Devil Stadium. So now a few people are starting to sift in. And she says, Fred, play track 8, cut out the vocal. And she sings People to us. And again, hamming it up, playing with the microphone, et cetera. And we're going out of our minds. We're going, Barbara Streisand singing to us. So she sings the song, and now there's maybe 10 people out there. Now, if you've never heard a sound in an empty football stadium, it's like nothing you've ever heard before. I mean, this amazing magical voice, of course, just ringing into the universe. So she gets done, and now even I'm not going to push my luck at this point. And we're like, clapping, which I'm sure she was thrilled, 3 people clapping. But I swear to God, this is the part no one believes. She looks at us and smiles and she goes, would you mind if I sang one more? And we're like dumbfounded. She said, I have a bit of stage fright, which she's notorious for. And she said, I'm going to be singing in front of 60,000 people tomorrow. And I'm a little nervous about it. She goes, it just so happens that I wrote a song for this movie with Paul Williams, and we've recorded it, but I've never sung it for anybody. And we're going to sing it tomorrow in this concert. And it's called Evergreen. And so Well, again, I kid you not, she then proceeds to sing the song Evergreen, which she has never sung for anyone before. And now she's singing it for Skip. Well, now you can imagine people are starting to come in from backstage. Anybody who's in a 2-block radius is now walking out onto this football field going, what is going on out here? And it's Barbara Streisand singing to a very, very small, stunned group of college boys, you know. And when she was done, we're clapping and saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. And she just looked at us and said, you're too kind, and walked away. And that is my Barbara Streisand story. So so no one gets to ever badmouth Miss Streisand to me in any context, because I will defend her until the day I die as being a really good egg.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love how I guess she was so young, she probably didn't have superstardom in her brain yet.
Well, she'd already won an Oscar for Funny Girl. She was 34. She'd already done stuff. She'd done Hello, Dolly. I mean, she was pretty famous, you know. And I got to tell you, she was really lovely to everybody. And her boyfriend at the time, John Peters, was an executive producer on the movie as well, and he was lovely to everybody. So, you know, I'm a glasses half full guy, but those people were really nice. And I remember Streisand story. So, hey, Kathy Donald.
Kathy's out there. My cousin Lynn. Hey, thanks, Lynn. Deborah Coltier is still out. Our fans are rolling in.
We literally have tens of people rolling in.
Tens of fans watching tonight.
Crowd control, please.
It's much better on repeat when you've had a little bit of wine.
Can I give a little bit of plug for Fountain Hills and to you, Michael, just briefly?
Sure.
And again, you know, cut me off at any time. But one of the things I love about theaters, Fountain Hill and others, and that I've discovered in my 40-some years of doing this, is that great theater, brilliant theater is wherever you make it. It can happen anywhere. I've done theater in the Berkshires, and I've done it in Florida, Seattle, San Diego, and a bunch of places in between. And I've seen brilliant theater everywhere. And that includes Fountain Hills. And so anybody out there who in these times has it in their heart and soul to support the potential at any time for brilliant theater, support Fountain Hills Theater. FHTAZ.org. Again, $5 gets you me not singing. $10 gets you me not dancing. $15, I will not do mime. I will do no mime, because you know mime is money. I will do no mime for $15. So whatever you.
I'm gonna get my checkbook. Hold on just a second.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. Thanks, because I'll break out into mime at any time. Yeah.
Do you have anything coming up? Any shows lined up for the fall, or are you just kind of?
When I come back, I may be directing a show, and I'm hoping to once again for Grease Paint, because you know there's between some of the youth theater groups, Valley Youth, the stuff that Bob does, and the stuff that Maureen does at Grease Paint. I love working with these kids, you know, 12 to 18, that are just brilliant kids, and it's so fun at my age to see how safe theater is and what good hands it's going to be in, you know, years going forward. I can't say which show I'm directing because I don't think they've announced it officially. So I don't think I'm allowed to do that. But it's a really famous one. It's a great one, and it's about actors and musicians and dancers, and you know, I hope I get a chance to do that. But again, you know, have job will travel. You know, I love working out here, and look forward to working with you guys or doing something with you guys at some point. We still have to have our Act of God reunion, Michael. You know that,
I know. I tried to get David Turley to come on tonight. He's going to be in the car traveling somewhere, but
gotcha.
He said to say hello. Whenever we see each other, we always tell a good Bob Sorensen story.
Thank you.
Oh, let's see who else. Oh, hey, Aaron's watching. This is great. Lots of people out there checking in on us. What time of the year do you usually come back to Phoenix?
I'm not stupid. When it starts to get a little cold in New York, I come out here. When it starts to get a little warm here, I go back there. Generally, middle of October through the end of March would be ideal for me, Michael. Sometimes I have to go back a little bit early if I have to start work at the golf center. But I would love to spend at least 4 or 5 months of the winter. And again, eventually I'll end up back here full time.
Yeah.
I love it here. This is my home.
Do you know when you're heading back to New York?
No, isn't that weird? In these crazy times, I don't. I mean, I can go back in a day. I've sent most of my stuff back. When I get the call that it's okay, I'll head out.
Yeah, San Francisco seems a smarter choice to stay here for a while.
No, absolutely. But again, now I understand Broadway. It was you and I that were talking last night that Broadway's not thinking of coming back even until the late fall.
Yeah. That's what I'm hearing.
Gosh.
Yeah, that's a lot of people packed into one room. I think people are going to be nervous about it for a while.
No, understood. Yeah, absolutely. But boy, isn't it going to be great to get back? Everything we thought we loved about theater, we're going to love 10 times more when we get to come back.
Yeah.
So, I consider this investing in our future because the future's coming. It'll be back soon. And man, what it is. I mean, it's just, it'll never feel better than going to the and being on stage. I applaud you guys for hanging in there, Michael. Keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, we're gonna do our best to make sure those doors reopen at some point and have a great new season planned, and hopefully.
I know you do. You got a great season planned.
Yeah. So we shall see. Well, we'd love to have you come back, join us. So we'll see if we can get something on the books for you, and love to have you come back. Thanks so much for popping in and saying hi to us, and congrats on your Zony Award for An Act of God. Well deserved.
Thank you. With your assistance. Thank you very much, my friend. I owe you.
Great. All right, Bob, take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Thanks, Michael. Break a leg, ladies. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you all soon.
Thanks. Bob. It was so great to have him on. He was so good in Act of God. If you missed it, it was so funny. That show is kind of a little progressive, perhaps, for Fountain Hills, but the theater people that came out got it and loved it. And I think we may have opened a few eyes in Fountain Hills. So super fun. And Bob is such a great actor. We're so lucky to have him be a guest artist and come out, and hopefully we'll get him back again. So we will let you know if he's coming our way. Our next guest is also done a few shows at Fountain Hills over the year, but she's well known at all the theaters in the Valley. She's been a professional performer for quite some time, but I was lucky enough to star opposite her in our production of Chicago. I think it was 2017, maybe about 3 years ago. And she played Roxie Hart, and I played little Amos, the Mr. Cellophane. Opposite her, we had a great time. But she's going to join us. She's going to sing us some music to get us started out with this part of the evening. So if you will, please welcome singing a song from a show she did here at Fountain Hills Theater. It's called Gimme Gimme, from a show called Thoroughly Modern Millie. Here she is, Victoria. Hey, Victoria.
Hey.
Looking good.
Thanks. A simple choice, nothing more. This or that, either or. Marry well, social world, businessman, clever girl. Or pin my future on green glass. I got it. What kind of life am I dreaming of? I say, gimme, 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 that thing called love. I want it. Gimme, gimme, that thing called love. I need it. Highs and lows, tears and laughter. Give me happy hour after. Give me that thing called love. Gimme that thing called love. I crave it. Gimme that thing called love. I'll brave it, thick and thin, rich or poor time. Give me years and I want more time. Give me that thing called love. Give me that thing called love. I'm free now. Give me that thing called love. I sing now, fly dove, sing sparrow. Give me Cupid's famous arrow. Give me that thing called love. I don't care if he's a nobody. In my heart, he'll be a somebody to love me. I need it. Give me that thing called love. I want it. Here I am, Saint Valentine. My bags are packed. I'm first in line. Aphrodite, don't forget me. Romeo and Juliet, me fly dove, sing sparrow. Give me fat boy's famous arrow. Give me that thing called love.
Bravo. Fantastic as always.
Thank you for having me.
Show. Remember when you played Millie and oops.
And I didn't play Millie. No, I was cast as actually Miss Dorothy.
Right.
But I've always wanted to play Millie, so there was my chance.
Yeah, there it is. I'm sure you'll get another chance. That show comes around once in a while. Big stage. Not about hills.
Right. Oh my God.
Was that your first show?
I was actually 18 when I started opposite Alex, and he was, I think, 50 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, as long as you have talent, you're fine.
Come on down. That's what community theater is all about.
Performing with you.
I know. We have
grabbing my boobs on stage. Guys, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
This is in the script.
Oh my, I forgot it. Yes, I love you, honey. I love you. Good old show. That's Chicago. That was a great, really one of the best shows at Fountain Hills. That people loved it. It was so fun. Did you have fun playing Roxie?
I did. It was a lot of fun. Like, actually, the most embarrassing thing happened to me during that show. Oh my goodness. Nothing ever tops that moment. It's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me on stage.
Do I remember what it was? I don't know that I do. I'm afraid.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to die afterwards, so I'm pretty sure I didn't tell anybody.
Oh,
but I know Gil Benbrook knows. He knows for sure what happened. He was sitting front row right when it happened.
I remember now.
And I think only he caught it. Only he caught it. And luckily it wasn't that noticeable, or so I hoped. But
I think I remember now.
Yeah. It was real bad.
I love it. Thoroughly Modern Millie was your first show at Fountain Hills?
Yeah, I was 18. I think I turned 18 during that show, actually.
Had you done youth theater before that, other places?
No, I'm originally from Long Island, and I grew up there, and then I moved here right when I graduated high school. And so yeah, and the first show I did was Thoroughly Modern Millie. But funny story, I auditioned for Into the Woods at Fountain Hills earlier that year, and I didn't get cast.
Thanks a lot, people of Fountain Hills.
No, they wised up though.
He came back. Let's see. You're getting lots of comments here. Let's see. All your fans are out there. Well, Peter and Noel, of course.
Hi,
Peter
and Noel. They are responsible for my entire Arizona career.
Yeah, they got a good eye for talent. That is for sure. Let's see.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
Yep, there you go. Still calling me Torzy. Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for tuning in. You guys,
Nice
if
comment.
you have a chance,
Applause.
please support Fountain Hills Theater because they, like I said, are responsible for my career here in Arizona and teaching me so much. And I just really love working there. It just always felt like home to me. And it would be really sad to see that place go because like, I don't know how much it changed my life, you know, and I can't imagine it not being around for someone else in that, you know, time of their life that needs it. And like, that's the most important thing we need after this kind of crisis, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's been really hard for us to be closed. And, you know, we're so used to just we put on, you know, 15, 16 shows a year. It's just nonstop.
Like just saying, it's incredible what they can pull off on that stage. It's, you know, it's very humble, you know, very small, like, you know, theater, but the productions they put on are so big and, they're like the sky's the limit. I mean, I've seen him put a helicopter on the stage. I've seen, we had a motorcycle in All Shook Up. It was, yeah, I don't know. The things that they can pull off, just incredible.
Yeah. Peter is genius at that little space. He really has figured it out and pulls new tricks out of his hat every show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's right. You did All Shook Up. What role did you play in that?
I was Natalie in that, and that was a lot of fun actually, because I got to, you know, I had to be on stage practically the whole show, but I had to like do a lot of quick changes, and I had to change in and out of being Ed, the boy, and then back to Natalie. It was quite fun as an actress, you know. I mean, obviously, I got to sing Elvis music, so that's amazing as well. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, just like, you know, putting my acting chops to the test.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You've gotten to play a lot of different types of roles, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I've also played Logan Schwartz and Grubenier at Phoenix Theater, and then I played Rona at Fountain Hills. So it's funny being able to do the same show, but two different roles.
Right.
That's crazy.
Spelling Bee, right?
Yeah, it's Spelling Bee. And when they first like called me back for Rona, I was like, I didn't realize I was that old. Like, but compared to who they cast, it was just, you know. But
well, that's like the singing role of the show. Like you have to have a really great voice to pull that. The kids can kind of pull off whatever, but she's I mean, that girl that played that part on Broadway is like has the most beautiful voice ever. Oh, so I'm sure they wanted you because you had a great voice. Warren.
Yeah, well, I mean, I loved singing it, and I got a chance to sing with Cassie Chilton, and oh my goodness, Alex Gonzalez, amazing as always. But yeah, like that was a fun cast too. Like I love Chad and Ryan and Sarah. If you're watching, hi. Just trying to get
Patrick. That's Patrick Russo Salon.
Hi, Patrick, I miss you.
Oh. Patrick's on tomorrow night doing his Eliza Minnelli show.
Oh, I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, Patrick and Victoria and I all did Chicago together, and then was it just last year or 2 years ago, we did a show called The World Goes Round together at the Scottsdale Center, and we had a blast. You guys played opposite each other, dancing and dancing and dancing,
and roller skating on stage. Me almost eating. Yeah,
I forgot about roller skating.
Yeah, that was not my favorite.
Roller skate.
You know what? It's fine. Patrick literally, he got me through. Without him, I would probably have like a nose over here.
Yeah, he just like put the skates on and was like, shoo, off he went. I was like, what?
Kathleen and Savannah as well, because they are incredible vocalists, and I was honored to listen to them too. And you're an amazing director. Yay, Sony Award winner.
Thanks. Woo, yay. That was such a fun show. Such a great show. We should do it at Fountain Hills someday. Peter Hill.
Thank you. It's a great show to do. I could do that show forever. Minus the skating.
Minus the skating.
Yep,
who else? Leah Klein. Oh, Chicago was great. Thanks, Erin.
Oh, thank you, Erin.
Donna Beers says, woo. Hey, Donna.
Oh, my goodness.
Ed was one very sexy dude, Peter said. I love it. Yes. Patrick's like roller skating? What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
We've tried to block that out. Oh my gosh. Do you have any projects coming up? I think you were telling me you were thinking about maybe doing a Carrie Underwood something. Is that true?
Yes, way to spill the beans. I am currently running my own tribute show for Carrie Underwood, and I'm hoping to perform it at casinos and maybe cruise ships. But I'm looking for musicians. So if you guys want to be a part of that band, direct message me. I need like a fiddler, and I need all of that. Yeah, so it's going to be a really good show, and hopefully we get that going the next couple months. So we're ready to go when everything opens up.
Wow, that sounds so fun. What a great idea.
I love singing country music. And you know what? I didn't like really singing country music because I'm from New York. But thank you, Peter Hill. He cast me in, well, as Janine's understudy in Country Jukebox. And ever since, I've been a country fan. So another thing that he gets credit for.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's something to look forward to. I'm going to keep my eye out to hear about more about that. You'd be so great at that. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Will you sing something else for us before you go, please?
I sure am. I'm going to be singing. I don't know if anybody that's watching saw me in Aida at Hale in downtown Gilbert. I'm going to be singing I Know the Truth from Aida.
Oh my gosh, you were so good in that show. So
Thanks. That was
really one of the,
I could play that role for the rest of my life and be happy.
Yeah, that cast was incredible. All right, she's going to give us one more song here before she goes, Miss Victoria Fairclough.
How did I come to this? How did I slip and fall? How did I throw half a lifetime away without any thought at all? This should have been my time. It's over, never began. I closed my eyes to so much for so long, and I never can. I tried to blame it on fortune, some kind of shift in the sun. I know the truth, and it haunts me. It's flown just a little too far. Oh, I know the truth, and it haunts me. I know the truth, and it haunts me. Just a little too far. Why do I want him still? Why, when there's nothing there? How to go on with the rest of my life, to pretend I don't care. This should have been my time. It's over, it never began. I close my eyes to so much for so long, and I no longer can. Oh, I try to blame it on fortune, some kind of twist in my fate. I know the truth, and it haunts me. I learned it just a little too late. Oh, I know the truth, and it mocks me. I know the truth, and it shocks me.
Yay, lovely as always. I know, that's a great show for you. Some more love on your way out. Beautiful.
Oh, you guys are so awesome. Thank you.
Peter Hill says, how about Starlight
Express? Oh, by the way, I am looking forward to Something Rotten.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good one. We're looking forward to it too. Perhaps you might come out and audition.
Maybe.
Please. That would be good for us and good for you. All right, Tori, it's been so good having you on. I appreciate you taking some time.
You guys. Go support
hang in there.
your local theater.
Thanks so much. Hang in there in your quarantine. Bye. So fun having old castmates on the show, and just brings back so many great memories. Chicago was such a fun show. It was my first show at Fountain Hills. I just moved to the area recently, back in 2017, I think is when we did that. And Tori's just incredibly talented, as you could tell. So it was my honor to play opposite her and work at Fountain Hills with Peter Hill, our great director. Such a great show. Patrick Russo was, of course, part of the show as well. Patrick's show is tomorrow night, which I mentioned, and I will talk a little bit more about at the end of the show to remind you. But tomorrow night, 7:30, tune in for the live show. It's going to be a very fun one to participate in for the audience. But coming up here, our last guest this evening is a lady I also met doing a show, I think even before maybe I met Victoria. I would think it was, 2015. As before I officially had moved to Arizona. We met doing a show at Arizona Broadway Theater, Christmas Carol, which was a lot of fun. And she will have some funny stories about that one, I'm sure. But she's appears at ABT all the time and all over the valley. People have certainly come to know her, and she, I think, has actually now moved here. So we'll get to hear all about that as well. She's going to open up her segment here with singing a song from Mary Poppins, which she starred as Mary Poppins herself at the Herberger Theater Center. I think it was just last year, Mary Poppins, and before that at ABT. She's going to sing Practically Perfect because she is practically perfect. There she is. Well, hello, Renee.
Hello, Michael.
So good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I'm so excited to hear you sing.
Oh,
do us a little Mary Poppins, if you will.
I shall. Off we go. Spit spot. By the time the wind is blown, the weather been around, I'll show you if I can. No matter what the circumstance, the one thing I'm renowned. My character is spit, spot, spick, and span. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, so people say. Each virtue virtually knows no harm. Each trait is great and patiently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to share. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Both prim and proper and never too stern. Well educated, yet willing to learn. I'm clean and honest, my manner refined. And I wear shoes of the sensible kind. I suffer no nonsense, and whilst I remain, there's nothing else I feel I need explain. I'm practically perfect in every way. Practically perfect, that's my forte. Uncanny nannies are hard to find. Unique yet weak, unspeakably kind. I'm practically perfect, not slightly soiled. Running like an engine that's just been freshly oiled. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Oh, why can't I hear him? You're on mute.
Oh, I was like, that was horrible. Get off the stage. No, I was saying it was beautiful. You are practically perfect.
Thank you.
What, tell me what it was like playing that role. That must have been a dream, like beyond. I mean, what a role.
Honestly, it was really funny. I say this because people ask me, oh, it must have been one of your biggest dream roles. And it wasn't at first. Like, I worked for Disney for many, many years. And Mary Poppins was never a character that they ever had me play or that I ever really was on my radar. And when I was asked to do it, I was like, oh, okay, great. Like, I'd love to. And then, oh my gosh, it became a dream role. I fell in love with her. I'm still in love with her. I love everything about her. The role is beautiful. The character is beautiful. And the story is beautiful.
Yeah, it's so funny because we think of it as Julie Andrews. And so I think you don't think of it as like a real role like that you could play. It's just like Julie in the movie. It's not a real show.
Unobtainable.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's such an, every time I see the show, I'm like, wow, what a role that is. I mean, it's like a zillion songs and singing and dancing and flying and all kinds of excitement.
It's everything. And it's everything as an actor that you'd want to do, you know?
Yeah.
It's all those elements to it. Amazing acting role, singing all over the book. Oh, she goes everywhere. She's down at the bottom and up and up. Oh, she's wow. And then flying, of course. I love flying. So that's like one of my favorite things in theater to do.
Wow. Was that just last year?
It was not. It was 2 summers ago. So last year. No, not last summer, but the summer
like
before
almost that. 2 years ago, right? This summer.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember. But it played at ABT as well, right?
Yes, it played there first, and then we went down to the Herberger Theater after that.
Yeah, you've done a lot of stuff at ABT.
I have. I know. Yeah. I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah.
And they do very well there. So I've gotten to do quite a bit of work at ABT.
Yeah. Sure. Now you're not from here, though, right?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois, and I went to school on the East Coast and lived in New York for 1,000 years and whatever, and then came to Arizona specifically to work at Arizona Broadway Theater, and then would come back and forth every couple years, and then finally 2 years ago, I really just fell in love with this area, and we decided to move here. We literally were on the top of Thunderbird Mountain, and we're like, do you want to buy a house here? And I said, okay. And we did. And I'm so happy we've loved being here. So
yeah, great. I mean, if you're an actor, you can live anywhere because the work is usually somewhere else. So it doesn't matter where you're based at. And you can actually afford to have a house and a life in Arizona as opposed to New York. You can't. Yeah.
Correct. That's part about being here.
I know. Well, yes.
Yeah, you can really live your life here, and there's so many things, you know, and so many great theaters here, and it has a really incredible artist community in the Phoenix area, and I really appreciate that so much. And that was one of the main reasons that we chose Phoenix was because of that really large artist community and so many great theaters all over everywhere, each side of the valley, downtown, uptown, across town. So yeah.
Yeah. What was the first show you did at ABT?
Very first show was The Drowsy Chaperone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What did you play in that?
I was in the ensemble, and I covered Janet Vandegraff.
Oh. Janet Vandegraff, yes.
Yeah, Janet. Oh, Janet Vandegraff. Yeah, she's great. That's a good
That was so fun. Did you ever get to go on, or have you played it again?
No, I haven't. I didn't get to go on. We did our understudy rehearsal, so I did get to go through the show and know the show, but I never got to go on. That's okay. The woman who was playing Janet was fantastic, and we're still friends today, so that's really awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we met on a show called Christmas Carol.
We sure did.
We sure did. That was a lot of fun.
That was so fun.
You played Christmas Past? Is that what the first one's called? Yes, Christmas Past.
Yeah, that is the first one. The Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh my gosh, you were insane in that part. It was the funniest. I mean, Renee is a peppy chick anyway, but she's also, pretty chill. And then all of a sudden, this character is like out there, just all kinds of crazy. And you popped up on that bed. And I was just like, this woman is insane. Did your costume light up or something? I think you had lights. Did you have lights in your costume or something?
Oh, yeah, the whole thing was and my hair was like a big candle thing. It was amazing. Like Christmas Carol to me is Christmas. That is what Christmas is about for me. And if Christmas Carol, I love Christmas Carol so much. So I love that show.
I do too. So fun. Yeah.
You were great too.
Oh yes. I was Scrooge's father. You might remember me from my line. What's my line? Yes, thank you. That's mostly what I'm known for. You have one line and you can't remember it. Something about a penny. That's all, 2 cents. Something about cents. Oh my. Not my memorization skills, not what they once were.
So you had a very important prop.
Yes. I am world famous for my placement of the sprig in the final scene. Because it's really Christmas when the sprig goes up.
You can't have Christmas without sprig. I'm sorry.
It's my very famous story where I was entering and I was like, oh, I think we added the sprig on opening day. It was like a brand new prop. Because I remember that show I think our Jim was sick or something, or was he sick? And so he was resting and the understudy went on for a final rehearsal and it was just it was our final day and the director decided to add in a sprig to put on the door.
Thank goodness you did.
But as I entered on opening night, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot the sprig. And if you have ever been to ABT, it's a very large stage. And the props are on stage left, and I was coming in from stage right. And I flew through the night to grab my sprig, run back. Sprig! I got the sprig. Oh my gosh. I will forever be known as Sprig for the Christmas Carol community.
That is correct.
And it was Christmas because the sprig was hung on the door. Oh, good time.
It's true. It made Christmas. It was everything.
That was such a great production. Did you do it when they did it again at the Herberger? And
yes,
I
did the second year. We did it 2 years. 2 years. Yeah, we did it for 2 years. So I was at that first year, and then we repeated it the second year down at the Herberger.
Yeah, such a fun show. What do you have coming up? Anything coming up in the future that you can tell us about on the book?
Theater,
theater, or I know you do concerts and stuff as well. What's going on in the world?
So I do. So theater-wise, I think there's stuff in the works. Obviously, right now it's a little crazy time, so we're not sure about some stuff. But Phoenix Theater is, if they do their production of Hair, I will be in that, playing Chrissy. So that will be very, very fun. And then I do a show called Darling Companion, which is a tribute show to the music of Johnny Cash and June Carter. And so my partner, Scott Moreau, who's an incredible Johnny Cash, I think one of the best I've ever seen. Him and I will be hopefully getting to do that show again. We opened it this past year around the Valley in different venues, Chandler Center for the Performing Arts. We did there, Scottsdale Center for the Performing Arts. And we're hopefully going to be doing that. That's hopefully going to be happening coming up this next year also. So those are a couple things that I can tell you.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
And you work with what's Mark's Foreman's company?
Brock Pro Entertainment.
Pro Entertainment.
Yeah,
who represents those shows, right?
So Brock Pro represents a whole bunch of shows. He doesn't represent Darling Companion. That's JR. Productions, represents Darling Companion. But Brock Pro Entertainment, we're actually doing a concert right from this couch on Sunday night at 5 p.m. So
wow.
We're going to be streaming it live on the Brock Pro Entertainment Facebook page. So
that's not too
of classic musical theater songs is the idea.
Nice. That will be fun. Yeah, I know JR. Yeah, I know Show Tune. They're awesome. And Mark Foreman, I met during Christmas Carol. He was our musical director.
Yes, they're all fantastic. All
Yeah,
so
there's so
like I said, great
yeah,
heart in this community.
incredibly talented. I mean, these are people that the both of them like you don't think you would find in Arizona. They're like New York quality, like really good quality people. They're here in Arizona, living the life and really creating a lot of great product. There's so much in this area. There's so many places to play. So it's a great place to be. I hear a knock, knock, knock on your backstage door.
Hi.
You must know Victoria. You two have worked together, right?
Victoria,
Yeah.
we sing together sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do ABBA.
We do. We have a lot of stuff that we sing together.
Yeah, Tori was
for
telling me
different
that
shows.
you went to college with one of Tori's old best friends.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Katie Hoffman. You went to the same school. Small
We
world.
went to the Heart School. Yeah.
Yeah, art school. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Even smaller world. Danny Gorman, I grew up doing theater with when I was 12, and he was 16, I think. He directed you.
Yes, he
So-
did. He did in a couple of shows. He directed us in Bridges of Madison County at Arizona Broadway Theater, and then again for the Addams Family.
It's such a small world. He was my baby John to my Eddie buddies, but like literally when I was 14 years old.
I love him.
Such a small world.
He's a dream.
Oh my God. And his directing was amazing. I saw you in the Addams Family at the Herberger, and amazing. Nick Williams was in that, and your boy, what's his name? Nick.
Yeah, Nick Kuhn, and then also Lindsay Foreman was in that as well. Who's
Yep.
well-known.
Everyone was so incredible. And kudos to Danny Gorman.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I am so lucky to have you two. These are two of the best singers in Phoenix. If you ever come to the area, catch these ladies anywhere. You are lucky to be in a show with them or lucky to sit in the audience and hear them sing. They are fantastic. I'm so glad you were both here. Renee, will you sing us out tonight with another song? Do you have another song for us?
I will. I'd love to. I'm going to do a little bit of cabaret for you.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I played Sally many years ago on the West Coast at a theater called Seacoast Repertory Theater, and it's always been one of my favorites.
Oh, awesome. Well, here she is again with another fantastic song, RENEE KOHER.
Sitting alone in your room, come hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, oh chum, come to the cabaret. Put down the knitting, the book and the broom, time for a holiday. Life is a cabaret, oh chum, come to the cabaret. Come taste the wine, come hear the band, come blow your horn, start celebrating. Right this way, your table's waiting. Getting some prophet of doom to wipe every smile away. Life is a cabaret, oh child. Come to the cabaret. I used to have a girlfriend known as Elsie, with whom I shared 4 sordid rooms in Chelsea. She wasn't what you'd call a blushing flower. As a matter of fact, she rented by the hour. The day she died, the neighbors came to snicker. Well, that's what comes from too much pills and liquor. But when I saw her laid up like a queen, she was the happiest corpse I'd ever seen. I think of Elsie to this very day. I remember how she turned to me and said, What good is sitting alone in your room? Come, hear the music play. Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Come to the cabaret. And as for me, I made my mind up back in Chelsea when I go. I'm going like Elsie. Start by admitting from cradle to tomb. Isn't that long a stay? Life is a cabaret, oh chum. Only a cabaret, oh chum. And I love a cabaret.
I love it. Your dog was like, holy moly, she's belting it out.
Okay.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Sounded fantastic as always.
Thank you so much for having me, Michael.
Oh, and everybody, I forgot to ask you about your Mary Poppins, your Saturday morning story time. Tell everybody where they can find that.
Okay, absolutely. So I'm doing a story time for children and for adults if you just want to have like a fun little half an hour of some stories and some, getting away from crazy right now. And you can find that every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. It is posted on Arizona Broadway Theater's Facebook page. So go like their page, and then down below you'll see where the posts are. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. That video will be posted. You can watch it. And we do different themes every single week and takes you to different places. We did the first one was feelings, the second one was outer space, and then this one is a surprise. So go watch it.
It's super fun. So if you've got kids out there or you just want to have a good time with Mary Poppins, which is why I tuned in, you should definitely go check it out. Hello to all our friends at ABT out there. So good to have you, Renee.
Thank you, Michael, so much. Absolutely. Have a wonderful night. This was awesome.
Thank you. Take care. She's so great. We had such a fun time here tonight going down memory lane with these girls and with Bob Sorensen, who played God in our Act of God last season. I do want to tell you about our upcoming season, which is starting in September. Let's hope that the doors are open and we can get on with the rest of the season. But we are opening our season with Beauty and the Beast in September. That'll be followed up by the play Misery, which is an adaptation of the movie. We're still pending rights on that, but we sure hope they come through in time for that. We have the play Mr. Conservative, taking place during election time. The beginning of the year, 2021, will start out with Always Patsy Cline, followed by Victoria. The hysterical play Ripcord. The new Broadway musical hit Something Rotten, and we'll wrap up our season with Nun Sensations, the Nonsense Review Las Vegas style. It's going to be a lot of fun. You can subscribe to the whole season and get a season ticket. It's $265. It includes all 8 of those shows, plus our holiday show, which is Holly Jolly Christmas. So you get 9 shows for $265. It's a great bargain. We also have a play series and a musical series if you're not here for the whole season or maybe have more specific interests. Those are all available. And of course, we have our youth season, which plays throughout the year as well. We have 5 shows. And you can get a youth pass for $150 for 10 tickets, so you can get 2 tickets to every one of those shows. They're doing Shrek Jr., Junie B. in Jingle Bells Batman Smells for the holidays, a play version of Little Women, and then My Son Pinocchio Jr. and Winnie the Pooh, both from Disney. So there's going to be a really fun season for the kids' shows as well. Of course, I want to remind you, tomorrow night we have Patrick Russo joining us. He's going to be doing a special transformation show where he starts the evening out as himself, and by the end of the night, he will transform into Liza Minnelli. He's going to do his makeup on camera and then switch into costume at the end, and he'll do a live lip sync number as Liza Minnelli. It's going to be a lot of fun. Patrick's well known, of course, to all of our viewers out there in Fountain Hills Theaterland. He has started many of our shows, La Cage aux Folles and Mary Sunshine in Chicago, of course, that I did with them, and the producers. Young Frankenstein, he's just started in tons of shows. We're so lucky to have him as part of our Fountain Hills Theater family. And he's going to do another special fundraiser night for us tomorrow night. So if you will tune in, he's got his two buddies from producers, the two stars or the producers, Scott Hyder and Michael Stewart. We'll be joining him as well for a lot of fun and stories and music. It's going to be a lot of fun. So please tune in. You do not want to miss that. I want to thank everybody for joining us. Again, I'm Michael Walt, your executive director here at the Fountain Hills Theater. From everybody here at Fountain Hills Theater, we thank you so much for tuning in. We hope we'll see you tomorrow. And of course, we're coming up again next week, and we have two really fun shows next weekend on May 8th and 9th. On May 8th, we have a special youth celebration night where we're going to celebrate our kids and all the youth theater that's gone on this past year and talk about what's coming up next year and hopefully this summer for summer camp. We have Mr. Ross Collins and Paige Beckman going to join us for that. And then on Saturday, I've got a special Broadway matinee coming up again, 3 o'clock on Saturday the 9th. I've got some Broadway stars joining us from New York. It's going to be really fun. So please tune in. We'll see you. Have a great week and take care of yourself. Stay safe.